everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm doing something a little different. I was asked by the Stencil Club from Stencilgirl Products to be one of the people who does voices for the month of November 2018. All that means is that they sent me the Stencil Club stencils early so that I could make a video or a blog post or something for social media using the stencils early. So that's basically all it means. You need to be a member of the Stencil Club, which is monthly. Every month you get a 9x12, a 6x6, and a 4x4 exclusive stencil right to your mailbox. And every month they're designed by different artists. This month of November, the beautiful stencils were designed by artist Pam Carriker. And of course, as you saw at the beginning, there's a 9x12, which is the face, 6x6, which is kind of the writing, and then a 4x4, which is a little stencil of a house. Beautiful stencils. So I've decided to work with pastels today, and this is Strathmore pastel paper. It's kind of a thin paper that has a lot of texture or tooth, which gives the pastels a place to kind of sink down into. And what I'm doing is using some Versamark ink, which is a watermarking ink. And somebody was asking the other day on our live show, what is that? And if you look at this, you can see exactly what it is. This is like a perfect example of what a watermarking ink does. And I think Versamark might be the only one, I'm not sure. But it makes a darker image on the lighter paper, like a watermark. So pretty obvious what it does, right? But the other thing about it is that it's kind of sticky, kind of viscous. And I think it has glycerin in it, and that's why. So it's good for embossing as well. And it's also good for doing this technique with pastels. And I'm going to be using pan pastels, which are a artist quality pigment in a pastel in a little flat pan like old-fashioned makeup. And I have two different sets. One was the painter set and one was the portrait set, I think, and that gave me most of the colors. There's more colors. There's even metallics. There's all kinds of colors, but these are what I have, and I have them in the little trays kind of separated by color families. And then I also have some soft tools, which are also made by the Pan Pastel Company, and they're for applying the pastel. However, you could use everything from a paintbrush to a makeup sponge. I mean, these are obviously the best thing to use, but if you don't want to invest in the soft tools, there are other ways to apply this. You could even use your finger. It's creamy, it's soft, it's a little bit powdery, and it applies in a very almost completely opaque layer. It's cool stuff. I don't play with it often enough. It's in a drawer and I forget it's in there, you know, just like some of my other things. So to start out with, oh, and what I didn't tell you about the Versamark is that because it's sticky, the places that I applied that watermarking ink will attach to the pan pastel and make it darker. So in the areas, and you can kind of see down there at the bottom of the chin of the figure, where it's just on the paper that doesn't have any Versamark ink on it, it's still purple, but it's not as dark. And then in the places that there are ink, it's a much darker. So this is a great way to play with your stencils, because you can put the stencil on there, you know, you can put the Versamark on there and then just drag any type of chalk over it. And in the areas that the stencil are, it attracts and collects the pigment and makes it darker. So you don't have to do a portrait like this. You could just do a simple stencil design and put a few colors of a pastel over it, a chalk pastel, anything. But I have these pastels because, you know, they're artist quality and I wanted them, and so I asked for them for Christmas, and I got them from my people who like to give me art supplies. So color choices. Why am I picking the colors that I am and putting them where I'm putting them? Well, personal preference, but also I started with a cool color paper. So it's kind of this grayish blue. That pastel paper comes in white and tan and this grayish blue, and there might have been a fourth color in there. I'm not sure. It's Strathmore pastel paper pad that has several different colors of pastel paper in case you wanted a different look. And because I picked the cool gray one, grayish blue, I decided to start with cool colors to build up my background and my shadows. The stencil, obviously, as you can see, creates the shadows of the face. So if you don't know how to shade a face, well, this is the stencil for you because all you have to do is stencil it in a deeper color and bam, there's your shadows right there. You didn't even have to draw it. Didn't have to know how to shade, nothing. It's right there. But you can, of course, build upon that if you do understand how to shade. You can build on what the stencil is giving you. So I don't have any stencil like this, and I'm so glad that I was able to get them this month from the club, because I always say to myself, since I know how to draw and I kind of know how to shade, sorta. I'm not perfect at it, but I kind of know how. That investing in a stencil like this is kind of redundant, you know. And this happens to me all the time. I go to a craft show and I see all these beautiful things that people have made, and I say to myself, well, I could make that, you know. And when money's tight, it's always hard to invest in someone else's creativity when you have it yourself. And that is such a backwards way of thinking, because we should all support the artists and crafters that we believe in. We should support them. We should buy their products because they have put their heart and their time and their love into this thing, and they've spent so much emotion on it, and then we discount it because we say, oh, I could make that. Do I ever actually make any of those things? No, I never do. I just justify that as the reason why I can't purchase it or why I don't have the money to buy it, you know? And I'll bet you everyone out there that I'm talking to does the same thing. And it's the same thing with a stencil like this. Is it too expensive to have something that instantly makes this beautiful face? You don't even have to try. You don't have to try. You just stenciled it. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But I'm excited to have this beautiful stencil from Pam Carriker. I wouldn't draw a face like this because I'm not Pam Carriker. My face would look different if I drew it. I could still draw it because I do have the capability to do that, but it wouldn't look like this, and it wouldn't be this easy. So after I got done with all my bluish, purplish, grayish, greenish, tealish colors, and I tried to make them brighter at the top and darker at the bottom where the darker shadows are. There's obviously a very strong light source coming from, let me turn it around. It would be coming from the left side. Left side? I don't know. Anyway, one side, definitely strong light source coming down, shining across that face, making a very strong highlight on that side and a very, very deep shadow on the other side. So then I'm now filling in and adding the warmer colors that I wanted to add. And I started with kind of a, it's a skin tone. What is it? Light sienna? Maybe? I don't know. One of those. The colors are all on the bottom of the pan, so I never see them. So it's hard for me to remember. But it's the colors in the portrait set came with, you know, skin tones and then deeper skin tones and deeper skin tones, basically. And then also some fuchsia and some light fuchsia. So I started with like kind of a medium skin tone. Then I came in with a pink, which would be the fuchsia. And then I came in with a different skin tone that has more of the yellows in it to add some kind of more, you know, different tones to the skin. And then now I'm using the lightest purple and adding some highlights around the hair where I think they should be. Maybe they weren't there on the stencil exactly like that, but I thought there should be a little bit of highlights. I do have this big fat brush which I use to kind of brush away or blend in the powder, you know, because these pastels have a little bit of powder. It's not a lot of powder, but it's a little bit. I'm also using some titanium white and adding that as a real bright highlight. And then I start working on the eyes, some blue and purple in the eyes and in the shades around the eyes. Blending that using another one of the soft tools. The two that I picked, the shapes that I picked, one of them's kind of got a rounded end, like a filbert brush a little bit. And then this one has a very pointy end. It's the most fine of the tools because it's got that pointy end. So it works pretty well for adding small details. Adding in some more pink, adding in some more white, just messing around. I do eventually end up adding in a darker shadow on the face colors because I just thought it was too pale and I wasn't getting enough contrast, so that should be coming up eventually. I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, please remember to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell so you know when I put out a fresh new video. And of course, share this if you'd like to. And be sure to go over to Stencilgirl Products blog and look at the Stencilgirl Club offerings from the past, as well as this one, which you can get for the month of November. There's some other great Pam Carriker stencils just on the regular side as well. If you didn't want to join the club, she's got some beautiful faces and other designs. Pretty awesome stencils. So now I have some pastel pencils out. These are Derwent pastel pencils, and I like to be able to control where I'm applying things. Like, control is a big thing in my life. I like the control of a pencil or a marker. And so I bought these pastel pencils, which seemed redundant because I already had the pan pastels, but I can get more accuracy with the pencil than I can with any of the tools that I have for the pan pastels. I also have this Spectra Fix spray, which is a workable fixative that's non-toxic and is not aerosol. So it's a good thing to use in your studio on pastels if you want to, you know, seal in the layer that you're doing. The sprayer on mine is broken, so I have to use a sprayer from a different bottle and kind of stick it in there and squirt and then take it back out, rinse it, put the old sprayer back on because I just can't get the sprayer cleaned out. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I probably should look into the Spectrafix people and get a new sprayer for it because it's just become a real annoyance. So this is where I'm adding in a complementary color. So a lot of the background has blue, and so this kind of an orangey tone is real complementary to what I'm doing. So I decided to add in that deeper layer of shadow with that color on the face because I thought it was just too bland. So, and the colors are a lot more intense than what you can see in the video. And when you look at the pictures at the end, you will see the intensity of the colors a lot better. This is something that I've really noticed on video. It doesn't pick up things like bright colors and sparkles and glimmer and glitter. It doesn't pick up any of that stuff, and I don't know why. I guess because it's lower quality or something. But so then another thing that you can do, definitely can do, is you can put the pen pastel using your soft tool sponge right through the stencil. No reason you can't do that. It's just like paint, only more powdery. So I wanted to add in the little 4x4 house. In the background, the words on that 6x6 stencil, there are different words, but two of the words are beautiful and home. And I thought that those words would be great for this portrait that I'm doing right now. I really think that your home is where your heart is, and that if you can feel comfortable at home living your life with your house and your people, that is beautiful. So those are the words I wanted to highlight. So I'm just adding a little bit of the colors back in using the little speckly area on the stencil. You always can use just a section of a stencil. And then I'm highlighting those words, beautiful home, using the darker purple over the lighter areas of the background, just kind of to give them a highlight. And then I do end up going in with pencil and adding more highlight to it. So, and I also write it with my own handwriting. But I wanted to kind of give them a little area in the background. I'm also using the pencils to add shadows and highlights to the house. If you add details to things, the more details you add, the better it is. That's just, you know, it's your own hand creating something that comes from your brain instead of just allowing the stencil to be as it is, which is perfectly fine. But if you add more details, if you add in shadows and highlights to the images, it becomes more your own and becomes better. It's just better. So I always do that. Even when I'm gluing on things that are pictures, I still add shadows and highlights to the pictures. Because of course, you guys know I'm a collage artist, so I'm into glue and stuff. But having this little extra set of pencils really in the pastel range really helps me. I will link the Stencilgirl blog and all the links for that, plus the products that I used in this video below the video so that you can find them if you're looking for them. I wrote beautiful on her forehead, but I didn't like it at all, so I ended up erasing it. That's another thing I forgot to mention about pastels. Not talking about over the area of the Versamark, but any place that you've put the Pam Pastel or the pastel pencil on the regular paper, you can erase it. Isn't that awesome? If you put too much on there, you can erase it. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm an eraser girl. I like to erase. So I erased the word on her forehead, and I didn't like it because it was crooked, basically. And then I ended up using one of the areas that the word is actually written and highlighting that instead. Something that you will not see on the video because I did it after I'd already turned off the video is I added some white acrylic splatters and then some very bright white highlights over these two words that I wrote and in the eyeballs using a white acrylic Posca pen. So you've seen me do that 1,000 times. I did it again. It's that darn Posca pen. I can't keep it out of my hand. I just thought it needed splatters. I don't know why, because splatters are awesome. That's why. So yeah, that's about it for me. The close-ups are coming up and the links are below, so don't miss those. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.